USA event at the host farm, and I had a booth set up as a Pennsylvania Hemp Industries Information Association, and it was in the Lancaster newspaper, and Les saw it, and the same guy that owned Hempstone Pretzels at the time saw it, and they came down and introduced myself. Les has spent thousands of hours researching this information, which is available. The problem is our public education system doesn't address these issues. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce a friend, a colleague, Les Stark. All right. How you doing, Lancaster? Welcome to the Pennsylvania Hempland Security Rally. I'm glad everybody could come here and show up. My name is Les Stark, and I'm the author of this book, Hempstone Heritage. It's a book about the history of the hemp industry in Lancaster County. A lot of people aren't aware, but maybe a lot more are nowadays, that East and West Hempfield Township was named for the vast quantities of hemp that was raised there. Now, we're concerned about complete legalization. We believe we should bring marijuana above board, tax it and regulate it, treat it like alcohol and tobacco. But one of the most important aspects of this is the hemp industry. The hemp industry flourished in Lancaster County for over 200 years, and we can bring it back. That's what our goal is, and it's very important. I thought I'd read an excerpt from my book, just to give you an idea. Some people might ask me, well, how'd you come up with the term Pennsylvania Hempland Security? Well, this is going to give you a little more information of what I mean when I talk about hempland security. This is an excerpt from my book. We in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania stand here today in awe of the legacy of our ancestors. From them we have inherited a rich cultural heritage, a national treasure called the Garden Spot of America, sometimes even referred to as the Garden Spot of the world. We are blessed to be stewards of some of the richest soil on earth, the most productive, non-irrigated county in the nation. It sometimes seems as though we are actually living in paradise. As I drive the back roads in the rural townships, I can't help but to admire with wonder and awe the beautiful scenic vistas of lush unfolding farmland, literally bursting forth with living abundance. I stop at the various roadside stands and buy fresh cantaloupes, peaches, and sweet corn, straight from the Amish, Mennonite, or English farmers who grew them. I take the food home and eat. Filled with a serene sense of peace, I thank God with every bite, reflecting on the fact that I live in one of the greatest and most unique places on earth. The quality of life we enjoy in Lancaster County today is directly dependent on that rich, fertile farmland that drew our ancestors here 3 centuries ago. Fleeing religious persecution, economic hardships, oppression, and war, they overcame severe adversity and hardships, and through hard work, faith in God, they established this special place that we know and enjoy today. But here in paradise, we're actually being squeezed. The population is exploding. In 1940, there were only about 212,000 people here. Today, we are more than 500,000 strong, with the population projected to increase by another 100,000 people by 2020. Thousands of acres of farmland per year are being lost in Lancaster County to development forever. The rate of farmland loss in some years tops 10 acres a day. Our roads are backing up, and suburban sprawl is spreading rapidly, eroding our heritage, bulldozing our history, and paving our land. The development pressure is intense. Philadelphia, with its 4 million residents, is just 60 miles to the east. Baltimore lies to the south. New York City is a mere 3-hour drive. People come here, they like what they see, and they stay. Combining with natural population growth, reinforced by a consistently strong economy, low crime rate, and a solid work ethic, development seems irresistible and threatens to become an unstoppable force, gobbling up our farmland until we are a part of some huge metropolitan area spreading from Boston to Washington, D.C. Lancaster County is a world treasure, and the accelerated destruction of our culture has not gone unnoticed. The World Monument Fund has put Lancaster County, Pennsylvania on its worldwide list of 100 most imperiled and irreplaceable places. The National Trust for Historic Places has placed the entire county on its list of 11 most endangered historic places. The American Farmland Trust has named Lancaster County the region's 2nd most endangered place. Preservation Pennsylvania listed Lancaster County as one of 10 endangered places in 1995. We here in Lancaster County realize more than anyone that the accelerated loss of farmland is a grave threat to our quality of life, as well as our agricultural security and unique cultural heritage. The destruction we have experienced is clearly evident, the loss permanent, and the threat to our future is real. But we raise our heads to the fact that not all is lost yet. Agriculture remains a strong pillar in the local economy. The Census of Agriculture, taken in 1999, revealed encouraging statistics. Lancaster County is 941 square miles, equaling 600,000 acres of land. Of that, roughly 65%, or 392,000 acres, are in farming. Only 3 California counties have more farms. Lancaster is fourth with 4,556 farms. There are 3,028 counties in the U.S. In total value of all farm products sold, Lancaster ranked 15th with $767 million. Here are some other statistics. 8th in milk cows, 1st in laying hens, 3rd in broilers, 18th in cattle and calves, 19th in hogs, and 3rd in horses and ponies. John Schwartz, the director of the Penn State University Farm Extension Office in Lancaster County, was quoted in Lancaster New Era saying, "This shows that we are one of the 8 or 10 major agricultural production areas in the country. Lancaster County is one of the primary innovative agricultural areas in the country. Our farmers make things happen." In addition to the strong agricultural economy, there are many positive steps being taken by individuals, preservation groups, and local, county, and state governments to stem the tide of destruction. In the past 30 years, the population grew by more than 150,000 people. Haphazard development encouraged unchecked sprawl. In response to this reckless pattern of growth, Lancaster County commissioners have put forth a comprehensive plan to guide growth in an orderly fashion. Townships are now using restrictive zoning to protect large areas of farmland. Urban growth boundaries channel development around the heavy population centers and away from rural areas. There are 350,000 acres of Lancaster County farmland in protective agricultural zoning. There has also been the creation of agricultural security zones. In addition, the Lancaster Farm Preservation Board and the Lancaster Farmland Trust have put 30,000 acres of farmland in permanent preservation. Still, with all this effort, housing developments, roads, superstores, and strip malls are sprouting up everywhere and constantly. A farm will sometimes grow houses faster than corn. There is a constant tension in agriculture. Always at least one sector of the farm economy is in crisis. Farmers here have felt the sting for sinking prices for corn, soybean, tobacco, and dairy products. Hog farmers were also hurt. There are often weather catastrophes, drought, and pest damage. There has been blue mold on tobacco, avian flu in chickens, and years in a row when farmers cannot sell their tobacco. Family farmers are finding it very difficult to continue to farm profitably. They are told that farming isn't a way of life anymore, it's a business. There are farmers who have no choice but to sell their land, and then development moves one farm closer to the next. Much good has been done and is being done in Lancaster County, but we should not become complacent. If we do not continue to move forward in the effort to preserve our unique heritage and quality of life, or if we lose interest in such things, then we could lose everything. We can lose the garden spot of the world, a bit of paradise on earth, lost forever. If that happens, then we will have failed. Failed our children and ourselves, our noble ancestors, the world community, and I believe we will have failed our God. Here's something to think about. Since 1959, more than 92,000 acres of farmland in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, have been lost to development forever. In the 1980s, we lost about 4,000 acres of farmland per year, a 10-year swath of destruction totaling 68 square miles. This was all to accommodate an additional 60,000 people. If the population increases by another 100,000 people by 2020, as has been projected, how much more will we lose? The more we lose, the harder and more futile it will be to save the rest. We cannot wait till 2020 to see what happens. We must join together right now with those who have been working hard to save the county and add to their good work, or all of our efforts and best intentions will fail and come to nothing. A very special place on earth is endangered. We should all take notice and act accordingly. So, hemp, that's what we're talking about here too. It's not just about marijuana, it's not just about getting high. hemp is legitimate business. East and West Hempfield Township, as I mentioned, were named for the vast quantities of hemp that were raised there. Between the years of 1720 and 1870, there were over 100 water-powered mills for processing hemp fiber just in Lancaster County, and those mills were all over the place. They were on the outskirts of Lancaster. They were over in Columbia. They were up in Elizabethtown, over in Ephrata, all throughout the county. Every stream, creek, or river in Lancaster County had a number of hemp mills along the rivers. If you were here in Lancaster County, right here where we're at, if you were here, flashback to 200 years, a little bit further than that, 250 years, let's take it to the time of the Revolutionary War. Hemp was booming. It was growing all in the fields all around Lancaster County. And if you were here, you would see farmers bringing their hemp from their fields in their wagons to load up in Conestoga wagons that belonged to Lancaster County merchants, and they would load up that hemp and they would send it down to Philadelphia to be made into rope for the shipping industry. A lot of people might already know, but every ship took up to 60 tons of hemp fiber for all the big, thick anchor cables, all the rope rigging, all the canvas sails. That was all made out of hemp, and that all had to be replaced every couple of years, so that ensured an enormous and insatiable demand for hemp from the interior of Pennsylvania. They didn't just grow it in Hempfield, they grew it in every corner of Lancaster County, and York was another major York County was another major center of hemp production, and all throughout this vast area. They grew it in every part of Pennsylvania, but wherever there were major hemp growing regions in America, there were towns named after hemp, and that's why we have East and West Hempfield Township. Hemp was used for everything. It was used for all types of cloth, from coarse cloth to fine linen and everything in between. It made tough coarse cloth like, say, rugs, curtains, Conestoga wagon covers, grain bags, but it made trousers, handkerchiefs, sheets, pillowcases, towels, just about everything. Trousers, fine linen, and any type of fabric you can think about. It was blended with silk and cotton and flax and wool, so it could achieve a variety of textures. Those clothing that was made from the local hemp industry, that was recycled in the local paper mills, of which there were many, and made into paper. The first draft of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence was written on hemp paper. Matter of fact, that's why I say, if we don't have the right to smoke marijuana, then the Constitution isn't worth the hemp it was written on. Now, we're here because on November 6th, Colorado and Washington legalized marijuana completely. We're not talking about medical cannabis. We're not talking about just industrial hemp. They went ahead and legalized it for all purposes. They decided to go to a system. That's right. So we're standing in solidarity with them. We don't want the federal government to crack down in Colorado and Washington. We want the federal government to respect the will of the people. Allow them to go forward and become laboratories of democracy. Let's see what's going to happen. The sky's not going to fall. The world's not going to end. It's actually going to do a lot of good. It's going to reduce crime. And Richard McDonald, thank you a lot for coming and speaking to us. You did great. I agree with every point you made. You laid out the case. You made the case for us. And we really appreciate coming. Everybody, give it up for Richard McDonald. Now, a lot of people say that change in Pennsylvania is impossible. How many people here believe that? How many people believe change in Pennsylvania is impossible? It's not. It depends on what we do. It will change. It's not inevitable, though. It's not just going to happen automatically on its own. That's right, solidarity. It's only going to happen if we all stand together, we make our voices heard. That can be done in many ways. You can belong to certain organizations like Vote Hemp is a single issue group working for the legalization of industrial hemp. You got NORML, you got MPP, and a lot of other groups. But you don't have to be a part of a group to be a part of this movement. All you have to do is be on the side of truth and righteousness. Get yourself educated, informed. Well-written letters to the editor, one way to go. Writing your congressmen and senators, writing President Obama, but making your voice heard in whatever way you can. If you're an artist, do art. If you're a musician, do music. If you can speak, speak the truth. Whatever you can do to end this and make change. We can do it right here in Lancaster County. We can do it in Pennsylvania. We can do it in the nation, and we can make change in the world. We're going to eliminate the drug cartels. We're going to eliminate gang violence, reduce street crime, and We're going to help the economy. We're going to eliminate billions of dollars that are going out towards enforcement and possibly raise millions in tax revenue. Now, there's some bone of contention here. A lot of people say, well, we don't want to tax it. Let's just let it free. Some people have high taxation, low. There's all different arguments that you can make on what model do we use to go forward. And there's going to be a lot of debate on that. This rally is not the be-all, end-all. This is just the beginning to get the dialogue started. We want the people talking about it. And once we talk about it, we can figure out the details how we're going to go through. But we all want to agree and stand in solidarity with the basic principle that nobody should ever go to jail ever again for cannabis. Farmers should be allowed to grow industrial hemp, and our sick people that are dying, our elderly, people that could benefit from medical cannabis, people with cancer and AIDS and multiple sclerosis, and they can benefit. They should be allowed to access their medicine. We've come a long way. It used to be when, if all we do is legalize medical cannabis, that'd be a huge boom. I'm not for just legalizing medical cannabis, but if we do, if that's all we get is medical cannabis, then we want our doctors to stand with us and be like the Underground Railroad where we help fugitive slaves. We want our doctors, you'll go to the doctor and you'll say, doctor, it hurts when I do this. They used to tell you, well, then don't do that anymore. Not anymore. So, anyway, everybody, thank you for coming to the Pennsylvania Hempland Security. There's so much that can be said, and if we laid it all out on the table, we would be standing here for the next 3.5 weeks. There's that much. It's a big story. It's a big issue. Legalizing marijuana is not and cannabis, hemp, it's not a peripheral issue anymore. It's not something to be made fun of or swept aside. It's a major issue. It's going on in Pennsylvania, in Lancaster County, all around the nation, and nobody should ever go to jail ever again for cannabis in the world, basically. Nobody should ever go to jail. That's the main thing. That's the main thing we're trying to get through here today. So thanks for coming. Appreciate it. And now I'd like to give it up. Okay. Okay. Now, my friend here, Connie Guy, is going to speak a few minutes. And here she is. Give it up for Connie Guy.